Hello, guys. We're back with another athlete interview. Hopefully, you can hear us both okay. So you're all okay. We're here with Ivan, man. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself. Some of you guys may have seen him in some other YouTube videos, maybe on Instagram. So I don't know a lot about him besides he's incredibly strong. He's been helping me a little bit, giving me a little bits of advices and really good pieces of advice I don't hear from anyone else. So, yeah, Ivan, man, do you want to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, what you do, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here, especially in that day because I'm born in that day.
Yeah, it's his
Yeah,
birthday
it's
today.
my
Sorry to
birthday.
interrupt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, crazy, crazy.
So yeah,
Thank you, man. Happy
definitely
birthday.
the best gift. Thank you so much.
That's a pleasure, man. No,
Yeah, basically I'm just a guy who like to working out. I was an ex-gymnast, some kind of a gymnast.
hmm
But I start gymnastics a little bit late. I 13, yeah, on 13 years of age. Then I continue doing gymnastics. Yeah, until I got 17. Yeah, probably like this. But I really like gymnastics. It's really keeping me motivated. It's a really
hmm
good sport. Maybe the mother of the whole sports of all. Yeah. So everybody should be watching gymnastics, learning from gymnastics. It's like the best sport for me. Yeah.
Okay, man. Okay, so you did gymnastics from 13 to like what? You said like 19
17.
to 17. Okay. Okay, so good few years of gymnastics. And then I mean, the main thing here is we're going to talk about some of the techniques and exercises that, gymnasts may use, maybe you use, because it does come
Definitely.
across in your sort of more calisthenic street workout training as well. You do the transitions, you do the, I don't know what it's called, like a pirouette kind of thing on the P bars where you turn, iguana. So a lot of balance, a lot of straight lines. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, gymnastics kind of, I guess, got you into, starting doing the planche, etc. How did you, I don't know, do you see it as different? This is my first question, I guess. Do you see gymnastics as different to calisthenics and street workout, or is it all the same?
Definitely. It's a totally different thing. In gymnastics, you have 6 events. It's like 7 different apparatus that you should go 100%. It's totally different. You need to train legs. You need to be more uh, into mobility and stuff. It's a way more complex sport, and it requires more athletic skills, I would say.
Okay, yeah, there's a more well-rounded, more balanced, more, well, I
Yeah,
guess, yeah, like you said, mobility, explosiveness, yeah, the leg power, because I
yeah.
guess you're doing different routines on different apparatus. Okay, that makes
I
sense.
don't call them routines. It's more
hmm
like I look that way. They are some kind of athletes in our sport, calisthenics, but in my opinion, I'm more like an artist. I'm not like the other. They are athletes. I'm artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Okay. Okay, I see. So more of an art form than
I
it
really
being
try
an
to
athlete.
express myself with a movement. That's all. I'm
Okay.
not an athlete.
Yeah. Okay. So the stuff you post on Instagram, I'll try and show some clips on screen. Is that you doing more of like your gymnastics training or your street workout training? Which one like do you do more? Because you're a gymnastics coach as well as a calisthenics
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
bit of a
I'm
mix for
both
you.
of them. Yeah, definitely. So in my trainings, I'm just going with the flow. I one day I really try to do, for example, like a new transition. Another day I just try to go for some volume. But yeah, definitely I don't have a strict plan. But this is only for me. I really don't recommend to anyone to train like me. I'm just experimenting how the things are going to be affected on me. Then I coach the other ones. So that's why, yeah, I don't have a specific one.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really
So
try to understand each movement to learn from it.
okay. So yeah, for you, the I guess the workouts are more experimentation. I guess sometimes you'll do
Definitely.
more. sometimes you'll do rings, sometimes you do more gymnastics, mobility, I
Yeah,
guess, and
definitely.
sometimes it's just more statics, I guess. Okay. Let's head into that. Since we're starting to talk about your training and your skills,
Yeah.
the first question is, okay, well, why are you so strong, man? Because yeah, you're insanely strong. I think I saw on a video with you, Nikki, and Nason. Yeah, like you were all doing skills, I think, and I think you were shining as well. Like you were doing, I think I can't remember. Maybe it was a game of bars. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
you were adding like extra reps. You were just like, had so much energy, and you were obviously like very, very strong. So yeah. What makes you so strong, man?
I think mostly it's that I'm training since I was a kid. I start with athletics before the gymnastics, then I moved to gymnastics, then calisthenics. So I'm basically training my whole life. That's the reason. There's no shortcut there. It's only learning, only hard work, and that's it.
So because of the length of time, you've had that time to kind of work on your skills,
Definitely.
basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. And with the gymnastics side of it, because you did gymnastics first before, I guess you got more into the street workout stuff, I'm
Yeah,
guessing. How did that help? How did that impact your street workout calisthenics training?
it helps a lot. So definitely in our sports, we should go for more stretching, first of all, more focusing on the handstand form. That's the whole. You can't learn a proper planche without the perfect. Yes, you can, but
Okay.
when it comes to a combination, when you are going for the handstand, it will cost more energy to hold the handstand and to go from one exercise to another. Here should be your rest position. The handstand is for rest. You need to take that rest to keep combining the elements. So definitely we should go for more shoulder mobility, more stretches, and yeah, more basic work to really find out how to activate the whole body, because every beginner starts with basic tutorials and stuff, but there's things that you should know before you start. For example,
Mhm.
you should know how to activate your core on laying on the floor. So that's a really basic exercise in gymnastics. So you're going to lay down on the floor and you're going to be flat. There should be no space between your back, lower back, and the floor. So you are going to lay on your back like that with the whole position, and it should be all flat to the ground. It's so hard to hold it, but really, I recommend that for beginners to stay in this position 20 seconds daily, and they definitely should learn how to keep the whole body position more. Yeah. So
Okay.
there's another exercise which is the
Mhm.
same exercise with the stomach, laying down on the floor, but with the stomach like this. So your arms should be like, and there should be this time should be a space between your core and the ground,
Okay.
because you can
Yeah.
see. Can I just 1 second? Yeah. When I flex here, there's a space to feel my wrists here. So there should be your position on the ground. But when I'm with the back on the ground, there should be no space between my back and the floor. This should be flat, and really try to stay like this one. And it's totally different game. Yeah, it's perfect for beginners.
So yeah, okay, so with the gymnastics, it really helped you, and you think it can apply to other people in the sport, working on the foundation, the muscle activation, so the pelvic tilt, controlling your core, so having that control over the
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
pelvis in both directions. So you know in your handstand whether you're tilted this way, that way, you can control it with the core, and it's less on your
No, no,
shoulders.
no.
You're not using your
Every
shoulders.
time when you are going to control the handstand, it's only from your wrist. There should be no
Hmm.
moving from your hips, from your back. It should be straight and controlling only with the wrist. That's the key.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you can tell you're a gymnast. You're like, yeah, only straight and just the wrist. Okay, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So you feel like that really helped set you up nicely, but I still feel like the other gymnasts I see, like I know some that like train
Yeah.
gymnastics, or maybe they did it when they were younger. they're still not on your level though, bro. They're still not like hitting the
It depends. Yeah.
crazy arches, transitions. So I don't know, does something else make you different, or did you just do a different style of training earlier? Yeah, what do you think?
Since I finished my gymnastic journey, I start working mostly on the planche. So in gymnastics, there's no place for a planche. You can definitely go for the planche on the rings, but it's the only apparatus that you can execute the planche. So basically, it's a little bit pointless to do planches when you're a gymnast. Of course, it's a bonus, but it's not the main thing. So definitely when I quit gymnastics, I just keep going with the planches because I really fell in love with that exercise, and yeah, just keep getting better, analyze myself, and that's why I keep progressing.
Yeah. Okay. And how long did it take you to learn planche? Like, okay, I guess you finished when you were 17, or maybe that's, yeah, kind of when you were ending gymnastics. Yeah. How long did it take you to start? Okay, I'm going to focus on planche. And how long did it take you to kind of get there?
Really can't answer this question because I really built a strong basement. And I remember when I was like 14, my coach just said, try planche, but this time just closer your legs, and I just did it. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
when you are working on the basics, but not like dips, pull-ups, and etc. This type of things.
Mhm.
Definitely you will unlock the planche. But the planche is a specific work. You can get the planche with pull-ups, dips, and that's it.
Yeah. So you were saying you were doing more things in gymnastics. Probably the coaches were telling you some shoulder exercises, flexion. I guess you were
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah,
using
yeah.
weights as well, stuff for the core, stuff for the chest, biceps, so that you were already strong enough to hold the planche. So your first one you probably just held out of nowhere, but then you started working more specifically on it to progress more.
Definitely. Yeah, more specific work.
Okay.
That's the planche. And there are three things that people should know. So there are three types of muscle contraction. So we have eccentric, which is going, for example, going down on a push-up. That's the movement. This is the eccentric part. When you are going for isometric, this is the hold at the top. When you are at the bottom, my bad. When you are going back up, this is
Mhm.
the most hard. This is the hardest part. This is the concentric part. So basically, if you want planche, and this is not for beginners. That's important. You should focus on isometric work. That's the key. So holds, basically, just go for exercise that requires holds. That's that.
Okay. So again, specific work. So if you
Yeah,
want the
definitely.
planche, you're saying you need to work on the holds, and same thing for front lever, I guess. So if you want to get the front lever, you need more exercises that I guess are going to help you get stronger at that isometric hold. So probably you need to work on your isometric holds and just
Definitely.
focusing
Yeah.
on holding at that specific angle.
Definitely. Yeah. That's the key.
Okay. Do you recommend adding in some dynamics? Yeah, or do you
For
really
warm up,
think like most of
for
the workout?
warm up, for warm up, it's
Okay,
pretty
okay.
good. Yeah. But we we are just talking about on something like advanced level. Just yeah, you already have the basement. You have the, of course, we are talking for people that already have, for example, 5 muscle ups, uh 13 dips, something like that. So really, when you have a strong basement, just then should you continue to skills. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Let's move on as well. So I want to know your idea for the planche, because a lot of this is going to be about the planche, because that's a lot of what I talk about, because people struggle with it more than the front lever and more than muscle ups. They struggle with the planche most. But we'll talk about a few other skills. But yeah, what is good form in the planche for you? So yeah, what are your criteria for, yeah, that's a good planche?
The whole body tighten with protraction. That's and pointed toes. That's the perfect execution. Yeah. A lot of people really they don't go for tightening their lower body parts. But this is something really important in planche, especially just because when you are relaxed on your legs, there should be a little bit like going up or a little bit. Yeah, definitely they can go a little bit more up. And when they go a little bit up, you should you will instantly go for retraction. So definitely try to push your hips down and really tighten the whole body.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I notice a big thing is like when you're moving from advanced tackle learning straddle, people first really struggle with the legs because, you know, in the tuck variations, you're not really focusing on the legs, on the lower body so much. But
Sorry.
then once you get to straddle and full, then yeah, then you really need to focus on keeping the legs straight, squeezing the glutes, all these things that you didn't do before. And you're thinking about the upper body, so it is difficult. But
Definitely,
yeah,
yeah. And one more thing about the when you are trying to learn the full planche, because it's really hard to get from straddle to full planche. So one important rule, just try it on a little bit higher parallels, and you can keep the legs a little bit lower. So it's better when the legs are lower than higher. So because you're keeping this protraction. The main thing in planche is protraction. And when you have protraction, you can allow to go a little bit lower. Just because when you increase the hold, the legs will go up by themselves. So that's how the center of mass is working. When you are going to lean, some people definitely will understand. When you are leaning a little bit more, you are getting to the point when the legs are getting up by themselves. You are not lifting them up. So that's the point. When you are really focused on lifting your legs, they will go higher. So definitely don't think to lift your legs. Think about protraction and tighten your whole body.
yeah. Okay, very, very true. Because my first planche, or like, it wasn't like I didn't really class it as a planche, but when I first got my feet off the floor with my legs together, it was like I would just hold it low. And that was like my first one where I was like, okay, like I'm actually progressing from straddle closer to full. Yeah, I just held low. I did this on the floor on my hands, but yeah, it would be way easier on like to use your mid-sized bars, and then you have a bit more time to think about squeezing because I was still bent in the hips, but my feet were low. But I was still a little bit bent. I wasn't perfectly straight. Because I was
Yeah,
doing it on the
yeah,
floor on my
that
hands.
rooftop form. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So my hips went high above my shoulders, but I was still bent but low. So yeah, but I progressed from there, and obviously, yeah, use the same thing. Start using parallettes, which definitely helps. Okay, so we know protraction the most important thing, and thinking of the tight lower body, pointed toes. Okay, so I guess so from that. So okay, if we know what's good form, so then another question I have is because again, like you said you're quite creative. I guess you said it's more like an artist compared to an
definitely.
athlete. Okay. So then in your opinion, what makes a good athlete compared to an amazing or insane athlete? Yeah, is it someone that is a bit more artistic and doing their own thing? Or yeah, what for you makes someone like a really, really good athlete?
In calisthenics,
Yeah, yeah, in
okay,
calisthenics. You can talk about it in gymnastics as well, yeah.
it's pretty different thing there, but in calisthenics, definitely to have your own style. That's the difference. To really try to keeping giving the energy. So it's different when you are elite athlete. They are more like really, I can't describe it. Definitely, it's so hard for me. But
They're unique,
yeah,
unique in some
the
way.
uniqueness is one of these things. But definitely having your own style, such as Christoph, for example. Yeah, Radoslav. Yeah, him as well. Yeah, guys like this are definitely unequal.
Yeah. And then do you feel like you have your own style as well?
Maybe, yeah, I would say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would definitely say yes. Yeah, like when I see like your sets that I've seen on it, there's definitely a certain style to it, a certain way that you like to do it, and then with the transitions as well, I would definitely say so.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
But okay, okay. Interesting. So I want to dive in deeper there, but let's go back as well just to the planche so people can actually get to the level where they can try and create their own style, because I think that comes with a little bit more, experience, and you have to, spend time doing it. So I guess the next question is, so did you have any hacks or cues? So let's say someone has a bad form in planche. Let's say their hips are still piking, they have the pike form.
Yeah.
Legs are bending. Do you have any cues that can help them with protraction or any issue? Do you have anything to think about that, or you like to think about to help with form?
Yeah, definitely. Just if you struggle to understand the protraction, go for this exercise that I talked about them earlier. I can send you pictures, by the way. Definitely go for them, and more leans. That's the best exercise. Just but not like presses. Just hold, strict hold. One more thing about the planche, you should you should go for the seconds like a reps in your mind. If you I really like the method, by the way. My head coach,
Yeah.
we are working at the gymnastics gym, and yeah, he told me that method. It's a really good. Shout out to Dido. Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Okay.
So he told me that you can learn basically all isometric movement just going for 30 seconds a day. Of course, it depends on your level. Let's yeah, 30 seconds are okay, definitely. So you are going to go for attempts. For example, your first attempt should be 5 seconds. Then your next attempt on a handstand, for example, will be 2 seconds. So there you have 7 seconds at all, and you are going to continue until you reach 30 seconds. That's the rule. It's pretty basic, but really important, really effective and important. Yeah. So you can learn planche by that. I already have some students that have a really good experience with this method. So definitely a good one.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you do a hold, and whatever that hold is, the next set you add it up. So you keep increasing the total time you've held that skill. So you go five
Definitely.
sec.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, you'll get more tired, but you keep trying to build up the volume until you have like 30 seconds, for example, total.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know.
And focusing on the form at the same time. That's why
Okay.
they are 30 seconds. You are
Okay.
focusing on the form, and yeah, and there's no sets. They are only attempts. And
Okay. Okay.
yeah, maybe it will be easier for the beginners to look at the seconds as a reps. So if you have 5 seconds, this is 5 reps. You can think about it. Yeah.
Okay, would you still do it for, let's say someone is learning straddle planche and let's say they have 3 seconds, that's their max. So the first set they hold 3 seconds, but then after that they go 2 and 1. Do they still doing just like one
Yeah.
hold until they get 30? They keep going, even if it's like just like 1 second hold.
But really try to make like maybe 10 seconds rest maximum between the attempts, and I think everything should be fine, definitely.
Okay, okay. What so they do one hold, let's say it's 3 seconds, they rest 10 seconds, then they go again, rest 10 seconds, go again.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, they're gonna like I feel like they'll burn out quick. Okay, so 10 minutes. Okay, okay, okay. But they still go even if it's like a second hold or less. They
Yeah,
still keep
yeah,
going until
still
30
going,
seconds.
yeah. But
Okay, okay.
you should
Interesting.
have 3 seconds of the exercise already.
Okay.
So yeah,
Minimum to do that
minimum,
method.
yeah,
Okay.
with
And you
the decent form, I would say, because it's impossible to learn it with the best form without getting through a little bit decent form. Yeah, I would say even bad form.
yeah. Okay. And is that pretty much the whole workout or because yeah, is that the whole workout or do they
No,
do a little bit after? They still
no.
do more after it.
For beginners, the workout should be structured really, really good. really well prepared. Because when you are a beginner, you are pretty weak. Your nervous system isn't ready for the skills. So definitely you should go for proper warm up with dynamics movements after, like, rotations, shoulder rotations, wrists. Uh, then you can move with a little bit of basics. I would say like 10 dips, 10 pull-ups just to warm the body well. Um, but this is only example. Then if you already have the handstand, definitely start with the handstand. If you are an athlete, calisthenics athlete, and you already have the handstand and you are trying to learn the planche, you should every time warming up with the handstand, just because the shoulder is getting really good warmed up with the handstand, the wrists as well. So this will definitely go to your warm up.
Yeah.
And after your attempts, there you should go for a little bit conditioning after the session, a little bit conditioning, and then ending with stretch, definitely, and a little bit of mobility. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, to talk about that a little bit more, conditioning. So what would be the conditioning after the main workout? So is that more core? Is that more like strengthening for the arms, the biceps, smaller muscle groups? Yeah, well, what's for the conditioning?
All of them. So there's a lot of exercise with resistance band. Just especially I really like the dumbbells work, which is going on the floor and lifting dumbbells. But this is only conditioning. It can be more like 3 sets, no more, just no more. And yeah, a lot of resistance band exercise should be added, like military press with resistance band at the warm up. By the way, it just, yeah, at the warm up it should be really good with a wider band for 20 reps. I always recommend that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
this is really good for warm up. And about the conditioning, you can add a little bit more. Like if you are going for the planche, you can go for again 20 dips, but with protraction. Always, when you are when you are aiming for the planche, not for endurance, you definitely should be specific and go with the protraction at the dips, retraction at the pull-ups. That's the
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so that's some of the conditioning work, okay, that they can use after the main workout. Okay, and then I guess for you, you already said for you, you don't really have a training structure. You're trying, new things. I
yeah,
guess
yeah, yeah.
experimenting. For
With
more
the training
advanced,
methods as well, not
yeah, and you're
only
trying
with the
different train.
traditions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And for more advanced people, let's say more like they're learning full planche, or they're getting really strong with straddle and they're doing straddle push-ups and they're trying to do a few combinations. What should those kinds of people do? Same thing, the warm-up, workout, conditioning, mobility and stretching, or is it a little bit different with the combos?
Yeah, definitely they should go for the combinations, especially for the planche. Once again, this is I learned these things from Dido, the owner of the legendary gym.
Okay,
So
nice.
he said like that, and he's 100% right. So he said that the best exercise, the best combination, my bad, for planche is push-up, press, hold. Just because you already have eccentric, isometric, and concentric movements. So basically, the best one.
Look,
Yeah,
okay.
you can do it with resistance bands as well.
So in that order is best as well. So not like hold,
Yeah,
press, and then push
yeah.
up. In that order is best. Okay. And let's say, so when should someone start doing combinations? Because this is a question I get a lot as well from different people. They're like, okay, I have straddle planche. I can do straddle push-ups and straddle presses. I can't really full planche yet. Should I do more straddle combos? Or should I focus on like my full planche and get the full planche? And should I spend more time on that? So yeah, what's in your opinion, what they should do?
I spent 2 years of going for straddle combinations to increase my full planche, and I would say it's pointless. If you are going for the full planche, of course you already have the straddle planche. Just go for working on your full planche. That's how you are going to get the full planche. Don't
Yeah.
focus on straddles.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously like you can increase your strength like by pressing
And
and stuff. You
endurance,
can
yeah.
get yeah, you can increase your short. I call it yeah, strength. Like I think of combinations. Yeah, it's increasing my strength endurance, but not necessarily like can move me on to the next new skill. Because I had someone as well recently who asked me, okay, like I was told if I do like 20 or 15 straddle planche presses, I'll be able to full planche for free. And I was like, it's gonna take you a long time to
It's
get
a
15 to
different thing,
20.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 20 presses and it's a
Of
different
course,
skill. It's a different skill. It's going to take you a long time anyway. Like in that time, you could focus on full planche and probably get it faster than getting 20 like straddle presses, I think. Like I think you're already
yeah,
strong enough
definitely.
to work on full.
Definitely.
So yeah, I do think people have that yeah, that combinations will, and I think for some people it does work, but I definitely think yeah, the specific work, I think in my opinion as well, I think is better. Okay. So with that, you also mentioned okay, you like for the conditioning work, you like using weights. So you like doing on the floor the presses
Yeah, yeah.
with weights. Anything else that is like you feel like is really good for just increasing your planche hold, or is it recommended?
If you are not ready for the weights, by the way, especially there are types of people that are a little bit more skinny, I recommend to them doing it with the resistance band and really focus on the movement. And the most important thing that's really, really important, when you are going for calisthenic skill, you should go at the end of your training for bent arm exercises. Because every skill in our sport, I'm talking about on the holds, is with straight arm. That puts a lot of pressure on your joints. And you know that pain when your elbows are screaming,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I recommend to go for more triceps extensions.
Okay.
That's the way, because we put a lot of pressure on our biceps, especially in the planche, and we are going to work on the other the opposite direction.
Yeah, the opposing muscle. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Definitely, everyone should add about uh, two sets with resistance bands for 20 reps,
Yeah.
triceps extensions
Yeah.
like this.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really really good one.
So you do it overhead? Do you ever do it like push down, or do you feel overhead's better?
I think I do it with the overhead one, but you can go with all of the varieties. You can't make a bad choice. Just choose one exercise for triceps and add this to your post workout
Yeah.
routine.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you would use the weights to kind of supplement the training, make sure you're well balanced. So again, it's that
Yeah, yeah,
kind of gymnast in you where it's like, okay, I need to stay
definitely.
balanced,
Yeah,
stay
my
stretched.
coach always says that when you are going for example, isometric hold, you should go for the different direction after your rings routine, for example.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So then we've talked about, okay, so the structure of the workout, what to do as a beginner, how to structure the training and the conditioning side of things, and just making sure you have a good foundation. Okay.
Definitely.
Um, Now, we talked a little bit about this is like, okay, the best way to progress from progression to progression. We talked a little bit about the combos and how maybe it's not always the best thing. Probably just specific work on the isometrics and progressing that over time is maybe a little bit better. So yeah, how would you like, let's say, okay, I've perfected my straddle. I can hold, let's say 8 and 10 seconds, okay form. How would you start training full planche? Just attempts, or you use that method you talked about where you build up to 30 seconds? What's kind of your best way to bridge that gap between advanced tuck to straddle, straddle to full for you?
Maybe three things. First of all, focus on planche lean. That's the best exercise. I will keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
tighten your whole body. Most of the people just skip this part and they are thinking, oh, this is pretty easy. This is useless. So definitely go for planche leans, full planche leans if you want the full planche. Go for resistance band work, and yeah, the 30 seconds rule again. And you can go if you already have a strong advanced tuck, just go for, I would say, super advanced tuck. So basically,
Yeah.
you're closer to the full planche, but a little bit bending the knees. So if you are going for this type of form, but with the 30 seconds rule, definitely you should go more closer to your full planche than just
Yeah.
spamming straddle planche.
Okay. Yeah. That's a progression that I think, yeah, maybe not so many people use because, yeah, I give it to a lot of people as well. I call it the same thing, like super advanced tuck kind of thing. There's a few other different variations, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. I used it for a bit to help me get to straddle planche, and then from straddle,
Really,
then
really
I
good one.
worked them for. So I definitely think that's good. But yeah, guys, this is a lot of tips and exercises from Ivan. So yeah, again, he's a calisthenics coach and gymnastics coach. So if you need help with him, then yeah, reach out to him because he
Thank you
does
so much.
do the coaching. So yeah, guys, if you're still struggling, you're using these tips, but in a couple of weeks you still struggle, then you know who to go to, man. Okay, man. So let's keep going. So my next question is, so when should people focus on the form versus like hold time? So I guess like if they focus on, okay, like working on the form, let's say that again, they're learning straddle planche, they want to work on the form, get clean, protraction, they're going to hold less time. Should they always just focus on the form, or is there sometimes where they, hold a little bit less of a clean straddle and increase the time, a mix of the two? How would you balance those two aspects?
I would say it that way. When you are getting into the position, you should be clean. That's the way. For example, if you are going for the straddle planche, you should go always from lean, first of all, with a really nice protraction, tighten your whole body, pushing the hips down, and looking with the head a little bit uh, diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, that's the main thing. Just start perfectly, and really try to maintain this form. That's the goal. Of course, you will end like this if you are going for max hold, but the starting position is the most important.
Okay, yeah, I really agree. Okay, and one question to you is this as well, because similar to that, okay, if the start should be clean, let's say straddle planche, you say the hips should be down and stuff. One progression is the pike straddle planche, and I used it as well. I see there's positives and negatives to piking the hips. This is like piking the hips higher than the shoulders, because obviously it does make it harder to protract. So, what do you think on this? I think there's positives and negatives to that progression, but yeah, what do you think?
It's a different exercise. It's not a planche for me. For me, better go for leans.
Okay,
That's
instead.
that's the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, for me, yeah, because I used it and it definitely like I felt like my protraction wasn't increasing. My shoulders maybe increased a little bit because I would open up over time, but the
Yeah.
protraction wasn't there
Yeah.
increasing as well. The
But the
shoulders,
protraction is everything on
yeah,
planche.
exactly. So I think there's positives because yeah, but
Yeah,
negatives.
definitely. It have some positives as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and and I was learning like straddle pike presses as well to help with my pressing strength as well at that time. So it was like helpful, but also not helpful.
It's a good for presses, by the way, because your hips are already up and only going for the legs.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
It's good if you are going to strengthening your handstand presses.
okay, fair enough. And then so exercises. So when people are making a plan, they know the workout plan. They know, okay, warm up, main workout. They know the different methods they can use now. They know the conditioning and stretching after. But what exercises in the main workout? We talked about one method. I think that people already probably know progressions and bands. And you said leans. Anything else that, when they're learning, should they definitely start off with push-ups? Should they definitely do handstand push-ups? Anything you'd really recommend that they, definitely do?
For a total beginner, definitely. Just even don't go for skills at all. Just yeah, go for basics, only basics, and start with the learning the proper protraction of the floor, core exercises, shoulders exercises. There are a lot of exercise you can go with your own body weight. And when you master them with a perfection, it's time for the skills.
Okay. And if you're like a little bit more like intermediate, like advanced tucks, straddle, just starting straddle, yeah, exercises for them, yeah, what that we haven't talked about. Is there any that we haven't talked about? If we talked about most of the ones, you would say, yeah, just do those.
Yeah. About the straddle planche, of course, once again, perfect handstand. Just to really have that strengthening on your shoulder and wrist mobility. So definitely you need to focus on handstand first. Then moving to a straddle planche with, of course, you can go for the planche to understand how your body should be horizontal. So definitely you can start with the planche. It's not a problem. And more basics on this level. Again, here you can go for more dips, more pull-ups. But when we are talking about more advanced athletes, just go for specific work.
Okay. And when you talk about basics, do you prefer dips over like handstand push-ups? Or yeah, like, and would you add weight to it, or would you do just, body weight, just higher reps when you're talking about basics, but they're still learning the skills?
Combination with both of them, definitely. Just go for all of the variations. You can go for 5 handstand push-ups before unlocking your handstand push-up, but definitely go for handstand push-ups then before your straddle planche to have some strength to make it safer
Yeah.
for the joints.
Yeah. Okay. So build up that foundation. So
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
you're not relying on the joints. You're saying, okay. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the front lever now. We talked a lot about the planche. Let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the pull. Okay. So I think the main issues a lot of people have is just that the lat strength. So when they go into the hold, hips are low, and
Protraction.
then yeah, and then the chest, yeah, caving in when in the front lever. So yeah, what's
Yeah.
your best recommendation? They know they should focus on isometrics now, specific work. They know the method you taught them, but yeah, anything else that can help them with that specific issue with the sinking low and yeah, not getting the
On the
chest up.
front lever, you should go with the chest up, with the chest open, like this one. Definitely try to go for pull-ups like that. It can help just to understand how you should retract your scapula, and definitely go for resistance bands here.
Yeah, okay,
And
those two.
maybe you can try one leg front lever, but not this type when your legs are closer to your chest. Just have that 90-degree angle,
Yeah,
and it will be much better for the front lever.
yeah. I recommend that you exact same thing for single leg is that, instead of having it tucked, because I feel like it changes your hip position and makes it kind of more likely because one leg's tucked in, you're trying to extend the other one. So sometimes people will have one leg
High.
up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. One leg up and one leg tucked in, but it's high.
Yeah.
And then they're
Yeah.
sinking because that tucked in leg. Okay. Also, yeah, the pull-ups, I think what I did scapular pull-ups, but you pull the chest
Yeah.
up
Really
to
good one.
the
Really good one.
ceiling. So you don't
Yeah.
do the full pull-up, but you just do with your scapula. I think that is underrated. So yeah, for anyone,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you are going like this, it's pointless. You should go for retraction and then pull.
Yeah. And yeah, with chest up to the ceiling. Okay. And let's say that people are getting more advanced now. So let's say they're going to the touch, the wide touch, sat. Is a technique, different? And how do you recommend people enter into the touch, sat, and, even the pull up to touch and stuff like this?
I'm testing some exercise, especially in this a few weeks.
Okay.
So I have seen pretty good progression on my students using the wall assistant front lever, like with the legs on the wall, and
Yeah.
just go for the front lever touch, but always applying this 30 seconds rule. On this one, it will be effective. And the second thing, you can go for a resistance bands, but with ankle weights. It's a pretty good one because it's a little bit harder than a normal resistance band work, but at the same time you are keeping the proper position because the resistance band helps you to be retracted.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, on those two things. Okay, so first, yeah, that's the wall. Yeah, the wall touch where your feet are at the wall, but you do a touch.
Yeah.
I
And
call it,
hold.
yeah, I call it the pseudo touch front lever is what I call it, but I don't know what it's actually called. Yeah, I did a video where I learned it. I did one of those exercises. I just put my feet on my sofa and I did it with bent legs, but I was just focusing on the touch. I think sometimes I did it with straight legs as well, but because of my setup, I didn't have a wall I could use and not mess up the wall.
Okay.
I did it on the sofa, and I think it really helped. So if some of you guys would have seen that video, that's one of the exercises I used to learn my touch, and I think it was really useful. And then yeah, that as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the touch. When you want to learn straight arm touch as well, is there anything else you recommend in terms of the progression? Would you still use the bands and the weights? And we could talk a little bit about the bands and the weights. I think that's also what I want to talk a little bit about because I think, yeah, even for me, obviously, like I've been trying it recently and just trying to understand it. But yeah, first for straight arm touch, and why should you be training differently?
For straight arm touch, SAT, yeah, definitely it's a different thing between SAT and touch. So when you are going for the SAT, really try to use your fingers. That's a thing that Nathan taught to me, and it's a really effective one. So definitely go for using your fingers. Don't go like this one. Just try to make the to grab it like this one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
fingers grab.
it's a really important one on the SAT. And yeah, one more thing, I would say for the SAT, the main thing is to pull yourself backwards. Like it's not grabbing the bar too wide. Only go for pulling yourself. It's like a tricep extension, but on this like this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's making the straight wide.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not about the wide grip.
Okay. So you're saying what? Squeeze your triceps so your arm is locked out?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And then
definitely.
which way are you pushing? Are you pushing straight down? Are you pushing out to the side a little bit? What?
Yeah,
Yeah. What would
a
you
little bit more to the side and
to the
backwards.
side? So yeah, kind of like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay. All right. And then let's bring it back to the bands a little bit. So you're using bands and weights because yeah, I've had a few people because yeah, I would train. I'm again seeing if it works for me as well. I guess you said one of the benefits is that it makes the bands like it kind of adds a little bit of difficulty to the bands, especially if you have two bands where one band is hard, one band is easy. You can add weight to the easier band to kind of make it more similar to that lighter band and bridge that gap. So I guess the question is, yeah, do you feel like this method is a really good one? And when should people use it?
You can start with a lighter band. Then when the form is getting worse, just continue using more assistance with the bands in your workout.
Yeah. Okay. And if they were adding weights as well, so they're doing ankle weights and the bands, yeah, yeah, would they just do the same thing? So they would
Yeah,
just go
the
down
same thing. So it needs to be a little bit challenging. That's the way.
Okay. Okay. And is this more on like the conditioning part of the workout or is it part of your main workout?
The part of the main workout.
Your
Yeah.
main workout. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
mainly for building that strength. Okay. Okay. And have you seen it work really well? Because I haven't had much experience with it. So some people ask me, does it work well? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't tried it for long enough for me to kind of have an opinion on it. Yeah. Do you feel like it works real well using the bands and weights?
Yeah, definitely. Mm, I see some positives. Yeah, pretty good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have students that tried the method and it works. But really try to add this into your workout and just tested it. That's the way.
Yeah. Just test and see.
There's no 100% that you are going to make it with that way. It's the same with everything, but the most important is to aiming for the proper form. That's the most safest way.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that's something I always say is like everyone gets to planche in a different way using different exercises
Yeah,
with
definitely.
different workout plan. So there's not only one way to do it, basically. Like you got there different to me, I'll get there different to you, and someone else, even that
Exactly.
I teach them, maybe they're doing it even slightly different than I did. So there's many different ways to get there. So yeah, best thing to do is to try it out and see. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the questions now. I guess let's see where we're at. Oh, this is something I really want to know. So the iguana handstand and the iguana planche. So if you've seen Ivan's like clips and stuff, again, his transitions are insane, balance insane again from that handstand work. But yeah, the technique for the iguana, because I know a few guys as well, tall guys as well that are working on the iguana. They can kind of do it as well. They're a lot better at me at it. So yeah, shout out to you guys. But yeah, something also I want to try. Do you have any tips for the iguana? Because I feel like when I try it, I'm like bent like to the side half the time. And I doubt I could even do it in a handstand. But yeah, any tips?
Yeah. So you're going to put your stronger hand on the front like this, and you are going to lean on the opposite shoulder like this. So
Okay.
that's the iguana planche. But of course, the perfect form is like this, but you can try it like this, but not too much. Like
Yeah.
that's totally different exercise.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
a little bit about the iguana handstand. There should be no leaning to the shoulder. Everything should be straight. But of course, maybe you should go for a little bit one arm handstand attempts,
Mhm.
mixing the iguana grips.
Okay, so they kind of help each other. Because yeah, I noticed everyone that's kind of good at iguana, even planche and the handstand, they can they're pretty good generally, usually with the one arm handstand.
You can try a close grip handstand as well for like a progression closer to iguana. Just go for close grip and one arm, but this type when you are using your fingers for assistance.
Okay. And with the iguana planche, do you feel like as a good progression, do you feel like an iguana lean? So just doing the lean on the
Yeah,
floor,
of course.
is that
Yeah,
good? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, to
definitely.
get the balance. And so you said like let's say my right arm is a stronger arm, this one in front
And
like
the
that,
opposite shoulder.
and then what this same shoulder, so the right shoulder in sort of is a little bit in front
Yeah, definitely like that. Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Okay.
If
So not
if it's
you're not trying to do
a
that.
discomfort, you can try it. If it's discomfort to you, so definitely try to switch the rotation, but it should be a little bit of lean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So one slightly in front, and you want to end up even over time as you get stronger. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I want to try that because yeah, I tried it just with bands. I was like, I can't even like I was in it, but I was like, it was like I was going for like a one arm planche or something.
Why didn't you ask me?
I just tried. I thought, oh, let me just try it, but I did it like right at the end of the session as well. So I'm asking now.
I'm waiting for the attempt.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll probably try. I'll try it today a little bit with the tips you gave. Um, Okay. Any other skills you love, like the iguana or stuff? Or yeah, what skills do you really love to do? Like yeah, that are maybe similar or something like that, like where it shows your personality, kind of thing, your style.
Maybe one arm handstand. Yeah, it's just it shows some like a peaceful vibe. So
Mm, okay.
definitely, I enjoy doing one arm handstand on my rest days.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. You can do it on your rest days, and
Yeah,
can you do one arm both arms as well?
yeah. I
Yeah.
have 5 seconds on the opposite arm.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. That's sick. Yeah. I definitely want to get there as well. So again, you recommend again before training the one arm handstand, and then do your training conditioning work. So after the warm up,
Of
you do that.
course, yeah, of course.
Okay, solid man. Okay, final few questions. So I see some of your skills as well. You're really explosive, kind of like Christoph. Pretty explosive in the push-ups, the arches. in your transitions, you do a lot of fist, fingertip, crazy. So yeah, anything you would advise, or do you like why you're explosive, or how to become more explosive in those movements and transitions?
Yeah. So first of all, about Danny Christoph, he's a really, really good guy, perfect coach, by the way. So yeah, definitely the best in this sport. About the tips, especially for the fists. So I'm doing it like this. I'm not squeezing my fingers like that. They are always straight, and this finger is going not down, is going like this. So there's no a little bit less pain, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
About the explosiveness, I really try when I'm going for the transition to bring my elbows as closer as I can to the body to really go for this explosiveness, and you should go for a little bit keeping. So I really don't recommend this one. We are talking about a high level, elite level athlete. If you are beginner, don't do that. If you are even advanced, don't even try it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely you are going to arch a little bit and then going for the position. That's
Okay.
that's the way.
So yeah, yeah, I think this is a thing, yeah, and a lot of things, like once you get really, really advanced, you can break the rules a little bit because you still
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you understand what you're doing. So it's not something you do when you're just learning, but yeah, when you're advanced, you can break the rules to kind of get stronger. I think that's the thing in like a lot of other sports and things like that. Okay,
Def.
okay, okay, that makes sense. Question I have as well. So yeah, kind of on that kind of same idea of getting stronger at specific skills. So the the push up to press and hold, you said that is one of the best sort of combinations to get stronger. What is the best way to kind of work on that transition, because it's pretty hard to do the push up and then press? Like I feel like if people struggle, like that will be the hardest part, is to push up and still press. So any way people can get stronger at that first part, because press to push up is way, like I'd say, way easier. Yeah, press, push up, and then hold is way easier. So how can they get better at the push up and then press after?
I would say planche lean push-ups, but I really try to keep the elbows in. Then when you are going up, really try to maintain the protraction. So the protraction is making the point when you are higher on the planche, and that's why you can go for press. So definitely try to go for planche lean push-ups, but always keeping the lean and the protraction at the top. Yeah, and again use resistance bands.
So
And
yeah,
you can go for even handstand, from a handstand to a negative, to understand the press better. It's a really good exercise, but some people just skip the part when they activate their core. That's why when they are getting into the straw punch, it's a little bit more like a banana. Yeah.
yeah,
So
course sinking.
definitely from the handstand, you should start to keeping your protraction from here. Here you should be already protracted, and with pointed toes and flexing all of your muscles. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. At that angle, are you like fully protracted, or are you just beginning your protraction? Yeah, I
Beginning,
think, yeah,
yeah,
I guess it's
beginning, yeah, definitely.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And then you said, okay, with the push-ups, maintain the protraction. And so is the best way to do that with the planche, like pseudo planche push-ups, is that the best way to convert it to your actual planche?
It's
Is to do the
one
pseudo
of the
planche
ways,
push-up?
yeah. It's
One of the
one
way.
of the ways.
Okay. Okay. All
Again,
right.
there's no best way. There's only
Yeah.
different methods.
Yeah. Some probably are better than others, but not only one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay. Final two questions. So what counts as Maltese for you, and how would you train it? Yeah. Do you have a definition? Because I think the gymnastics definition, it may be different to how people define it in calisthenics. Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
the definition of the Maltese for gymnasts are to be as much horizontal as you can. So basically, the level of your wrist should be on the level of your shoulder. But in gymnastics, they don't really go for max protraction. About the calisthenics, I would say everything that you are pushing, not because most of the people are going for the Maltese using their wrists like that. It's more like a dead
Mm-hmm.
plunge. So that's
Mm-hmm.
not a Maltese. The Maltese should be again like the sat, pushing a little bit more sideways, like this one, straight
Straight
for wrist.
wrist.
So that's the arm position right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what? So you're saying don't break the wrist downwards. Okay. Are you still like how much forward are you leaning? So you're keeping the wrist as straight as you can, protracting. Are you thinking about leaning forward the same amount as planche, or are you thinking more about keeping up and just going pushing out to the side and up? Yeah. What direction are you mostly pushing?
Mostly like that. It's not like too much leaning because when you are a little bit narrow grip and then leaning too much, it will get to the dead plunge position. So a little bit wider and then pushing like
Yeah, outwards. Okay. And is that exact same technique for sort of push up? What's it called? Like a dead, like from dead to Maltese
yeah for how was the
elevation,
word
Maltese elevation.
elevation, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, what's it called? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the Maltese elevation.
about the elevation, Netko, again, a really strong athlete. He told me a really important thing. So when you are down, you should be already protracted. So here you should be protracted, and you just need to to push up. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's going on here?
so I played,
I think,
and
yeah,
then okay. So if you're already protracted, then are you still pushing down or you still push out? Same thing for the
pushing out.
elevation.
Yeah, pushing out. Yeah,
Still out. Okay. Okay. But yeah, one thing when I feel like I'm gonna push out, I feel like I'm gonna push my bars to the side, if you get what I mean. So I
yeah,
feel like I
yeah,
have
yeah.
to push down. Like, is it like down and out, or are you
Yeah,
pushing directly to
definitely,
the
it's a
side?
combination. It's a combination. Yeah.
Okay, still coming. Okay, yeah. Okay. The last question now is any other common mistakes that you feel people make in just in general training. So it could be things like overtraining, not stretching enough, or not doing this specific thing. Anything you feel like people do that's really underrated that you feel like if most people did, it would already help them get to that next level.
1 second. Yeah. Um,
No problem.
about the beginners, you should go for a little bit more rest days. I would say like two two rest days on a week. It will be totally fine. But when the level is getting up, you should be a little bit more into volume. But I really like the greasing the groove method.
Mhm.
It's basically the conception is to make yourself fresh, to keep yourself fresh after your workout, to do it multiple times in the day. So it's more like having 2 or 3 sessions daily. It's a really good one. Yeah, I need to charge. Yeah, my favorite exercise. It's good as a warm up and at the end of your training also. Oops, yeah, nice one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah. Perfect, perfect for ending the podcast. Yeah. So you're
I can
going to
see.
grab the resistance band like that, always keeping the elbow straight and just going for this movement.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and one more, you are going to go for a cycle like this one. And the last one, this is the most effective one for warm up. So you are going to bring your hand, one of your hands up, and then go for rotation with the other.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Yeah, and the other hand. like
Okay.
10 reps of each, it will be just perfect.
And that's for warm up.
Yeah,
That's like a warm up.
yeah, definitely. But you can do it like a bonus in your post workout. It will be
Yeah.
perfect.
Just mobility. Okay, okay, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I haven't seen that last one. But okay, Ivan, man, thank you again for joining us on your birthday to give the people all these advices. Again, everyone, tell them happy birthday, send them a message, and if you want to get coaching, you want more advice like this from people that know what they're talking about, that train the skills and are experimenting themselves with their training, that and they figure out what works, then yeah, reach out to him. Is the best place to get in contact with you on Instagram?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, it'll be in the description, so just check there, follow him as well, because yeah, he posts like really good content as well. um yeah, that's it. Do you want to say goodbye to the people, man?
It was a pleasure. Goodbye. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very, very much, man. See you guys in the next one. All right.